Process efficiency. It's a couple of ways that we can look in our plants and our processes to get a handle on the level of efficiency we have or don't have. Now, these aren't quantitative numbers so much as qualitative, and we get this from lean manufacturing. Now, one way, of course, is to do, as lean would call it, your takt time, where you see what your average throughput of your average people are and what your best guy is. So say you get one of the 100 units per hour, one does 80 units per hour, one does 70 units per hour. Well, the 70-80, they're averaging 75 units per hour, but we have one person who's doing 100, which means that you're losing 25% efficiency from 2/3 of your workforce. Now, they may not be able to operate as fast as your fastest guy. Then you also have to look at the waste. Who has the most amount of rejects? And who has the least amount of rejects? Because you always want to say, well, you should be able to do as good as your best guy. A machine will. So every place that you find those losses of efficiencies, well, those are places that can be improved by automating that particular task. Another one to use, which goes in every plant, and it's amazing how few people know about this one. It's called a walking count. And all you do is you go to about every half hour or hour. Don't tell anybody what you're doing. Just pop your head onto the floor and count how many people are walking. So say you have 10 people working in your factory, to make the math easy, and your average is that every time you've gone out, 4 people are walking. That means 40% of the time people aren't actually doing anything productive. It may not be their fault. They may have to go get stuff, material handling, etc., have to grab tools, but 40% of the time they're not doing anything productive. So automation can help cure that, because automated machinery doesn't walk. It just operates steady. And then you can add in lunch hours, coffee breaks, etc. So if you want to know where you're at efficiency-wise in your process and how to improve and where improvements are possible, look at your average times compared to your total times. Look at how much time is lost in setup safety meetings, toolbox talks, etc. Look at lunch hours and coffee breaks, because machines don't take those. You look at your holiday times and your sick days, and you look at a walking survey. How many people are walking in your plant? There's a quick way to see where efficiencies can be gained reasonably quickly with automation. And then you compile that with the areas that are your pain points that you know for sure are holdups and bottlenecks in your process, or where you have a bunch of people gathered around to do a task. You have one person here, 2 people there, and over in this corner there's 6 people. Well, there's some place that you need to bring in some form of task automation and mechanization, because it's obviously inefficient and a bottleneck, and it's costing you a lot of labor. And when you get a lot of hands involved, the waste usually goes up as well. So something to look at in your process in your plant. Count your walkers. Look at your throughput time on averages. Look at how much time is spent standardly in non-productive tasks. Safety talks, toolbox talks, staff meetings, coffee breaks, lunch breaks, holidays, sick days, etc. They all add up. It's a pretty quick way to get a qualitative idea of where in your process you might want to start looking for efficiency improvements, as well as look at the waste. Where the bigger piles of waste are, there's a real good place to look at improving your processes.